All right, if you're wondering how to actually warm up for your training, well, this is the video for you. I'm gonna go over my direct protocol that I use, a step-by-step process for all of my athletes. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Daru. I've been in the game for 16 plus years, worked with well over 200 professional athletes, and today I'm gonna go over my protocol that I use for all of them. Let's do it. All right, so before I get into the actual exercises and the mobility routine that we do before we actually get ready for a training session, we gotta go over the philosophy behind it, right? And the breakdown from an objective standpoint. So objective standpoint, right? Our goal is to enhance overall training readiness. So with any warm-up routine, you just wanna be prepared for the work ahead. And so we do that through what's called the RAMP protocol. And RAMP stands for raise, activate, mobilize, and potentiate. Now, what does that mean? Our focus points as you go through your warm-up. Typically, you wanna spend about 10, maybe even 15 minutes, depending on your readiness, depending on your sport, depending on your experience in the training room. The longer you've been in the game, the longer you have to warm up, right? The older you are, the longer you have to warm up. So this typically is versatile for anyone, but you have to spend a little bit more time if you need to prepare yourself accordingly, especially for high intense exercises or workouts, like let's say sparring or weight training or something along the lines of that. So let's get into this. Now the focus point is gonna be raising core temperature, is the R in RAMP, raising core and tissue temperature. So what does that mean? Basically, I'm trying to increase my heart rate range. I'm trying to get a sweat going, all right? I'm trying to raise my core temperature. So what that does do is that primes the nervous system. It also helps get the muscles ready for the work ahead too as well. And then from there, right, you wanna activate the central nervous system and the muscular system, right? Now, obviously activating the central nervous system is gonna help you be explosive, right? It's gonna help you have high force output. Your muscular system, obviously you're gonna have better contractibility of each muscle, right? Now, as far as mobilizing the joints, we want to gain more joint range of motion. The more range of motion we have, the more exercises we can do fluently and efficiently, right? Then we wanna potentiate. Now, potentiate means that we're trying to do something that helps us move into the actual workout. So for me, with a lot of my athletic training, typically we will do something high velocity and high power based in the beginning of the workout. So most of the potentiation work is gonna be plyometric in nature. So we're gonna be doing movements with high velocity, right, high explosive action to potentiate into the main work, all right? So when it comes down to certain exercises that you could do, now I'm just gonna give you a basic rundown and then I'll go through my warm-up routine as a whole. First thing you wanna do, right, from a raising core temperature standpoint, you can do a light spin on a spin bike or an assault bike. You can do shadow boxing if you are a combat sport athlete. You can do the rower, you can do a ski erg, anything that's just gonna get your body moving, right? Now, as far as the activation portion, right, you wanna do something that's gonna activate the muscles. So monster walks with a band, hip airplane with a band. You can also do arm bars with a kettlebell. You can do banded pull-aparts, anything that's gonna activate the muscle, right, and help you also gain some more range of motion as you go into your mobilization. Now, your mobilization, you can do things like the world's greatest stretch, right, scorpions, prone swimmers, everything that's going to give you more range of motion in each joint capsule up the kinetic chain. The last one, again, like I said, low-level plyometrics. Those are like pogo jumps, hop, skips, bounds, things like that, sprinting intervals, right, starts, right, or for the upper body, you can do med ball variations, right? Anything ballistic is gonna be highly beneficial for what we're trying to do, right? So now what I'll do is I'm gonna go over it section by section, and you can follow this routine for your training session. Let's get into it. All right, so we're starting off with raising core temperature. So I'm using the assault bike here, 3 minutes on. If you know your maximal aerobic power on the assault bike, you can use 50%. But for males, I would typically stay around 150 to 175 watts. For females, you're looking at 130 to 150. Just keep a good pace, and you wanna stay nasal breathing only. After the 3 minutes, you're gonna go into shadow boxing or some sort of movement, whether it be jumping jacks, in-place running, or you can do jump rope. I'm doing shadow boxing here, 3 minutes, just getting a little bit more core temperature increasing, moving my body around, just waking my body up, and that's gonna be about 6 minutes total. All right, next one is activation. So I'm doing a single leg clamshell with a band around my thighs. This one really is to help with activation of the lower limbs, the hips, the glutes, also working on maintaining my posture and my stability on the ground. So it's a single leg movement in a closed and open chain. I'm gonna do 2 sets of 5 reps each, making sure that I'm activating my glutes, but also maintaining tension with a good support system on my down foot. Moving on to mobilization. I'm just gonna call it the Daru stretch. The Daru stretch is similar to the world's greatest stretch. I'm just adding a couple of things. Biggest thing that I'm adding is drawbacks for the adductors. And then I'm also adding a single leg RDL component into a hip airplane. So I'm gonna do 1 set of 3 each side. First thing I'm gonna do is go to a heel toe walk. I'm gonna drive my heel off the ground, go into a knee pull, then immediately lunge out. I'm gonna go into the inside of my leg, go ahead and do a T-spine opener, looking up at my hand, shifting my hips back and up. I'm gonna go ahead and shift my weight, where I'm gonna rotate and get a adductor drawback. Then from there, shifting the midline of my body over the knee as I go into the single leg RDL. With the single leg RDL, I'm gonna hold position, going into the hip airplane. Once I continue through the hip airplane, I place my foot down and repeat the process on the other side. This should take you about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. Moving to potentiation, I'm gonna do pogo jumps for 10 seconds. As I hit the ground, I'm gonna redirect force fast. I'm hitting with my midfoot, pulling the toes to the top of the shoe as I jump up in the air. I'm gonna do 2 sets of 10 seconds. Then I'm gonna go into skater bounds, working on lateral force displacement and redirection of force. As I go to load my hip, I'm gonna push off laterally, load, absorb, and then redirect. I'm gonna do that for 10 total seconds, 2 sets through. After that, I'm gonna move my way up to the upper body, where I'm gonna go med ball chest pass, where I am gonna hinge through the hips, explode into hip extension, drive the ball into the wall, and let the ball go rapidly. I'm gonna do that for 5 total reps. You can do 1 to 2 sets through. Finishing up with sled sprints. Now, you don't need a sled. You can use just a basic 2-point start or a rolling start, but the goal is to work on your gait and be explosive through that motion. I'm gonna do 4 rounds of 50 feet. I'm gonna use a lighter weight, so typically 20, no more than 30% of your maximal attempts, and I'm gonna rest about 30 to 60 seconds. All in all, you should be getting done within 15 to 16 minutes to prepare you for the workout ahead.